What is up?
Hey
Hello.
guys, we are back.
Yes, we are.
It's been like a New York minute, only New Jersey minute. But how are you guys doing?
Good thing Facebook is letting us on today, right?
I know.
Last week was a
It's
nightmare.
I'm not telling it. Okay, there you go. Hey, okay, sorry. Checking out the technical stuff. You know how that goes. So, how's everybody doing? The weather today is like
Amazing.
Amazing.
So beautiful.
It is gorgeous today.
What are you guys doing today? I know that today's topic is a hot topic because when we didn't go live last week, I had some people message me and say, "What happened? I was looking forward to this topic." So we thought that this was something that we wanted to share and come to you guys about, because a lot of women struggle with connecting and opening up and bonding to other women. I feel like a lot of us can relate to that, right?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. And I just wanted to open it up with something that I read from Jane Fonda, which she's a feminine activist, and she's so much into female relationships, female bonding, and I thought that this was just like it hit right on the nail. So it said, friendship between women is different than friendship between men. We talk
Amen.
about different things, we delve deep, we go under. Even if we haven't seen each other for years, there are hormones that are released from women to other women that are healthy and do away with the stress hormones. It's my women friends that keep starch in my spine, and without them, I don't know where I would be. We have to just hang together and help each other. I think that right there is so. I mean, like, it gave me, as I'm reading it gave me goosebumps. Okay.
Yeah.
And all the hormonal stuff.
you know, we don't realize. We actually do not realize how it affects us, even scientifically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how it affects our well-being, having those bonds with other women. And I think that a lot of us, because of different past experiences, we tend to not want to have those female friendships,
Exactly.
you know? But it really does us so much good for our well-being. It really does.
Yes. Men are welcome to watch this, okay? Just
Yes.
because we're talking about women and bonding and connections, let me tell you, sometimes listening to these talks will help you have a better relationship with your woman.
Amen.
Just saying.
Amen.
But that's really interesting because really interesting how she says that the relationship, between women is very different in terms of relationship with men. And how you can go for months and months, and I definitely have those friendships, months and months and months, without maybe speaking to that particular, BFF of yours. And then when you do speak and connect, it's like you've never lost contact, because it's just that bond, that you've created with that person that is just there, no matter what. However, I personally think that it can be a little bit challenging to create those types of relationships. To open up, to trust, a lot of those things come into play. To to have those relationships and carry them on through adulthood is another thing. You create these strong relationships when you're younger, as kids, and then you change over time, and then to actually carry those same relationships over to adulthood, that's a very special thing if you're able to do that with a few people. And I always say that my circle kind of got a little bit smaller, but then, we'll talk more about it. Then it also got a little bigger once again, because I allowed it. I allowed myself to open up to other women as I got older. Although I went through a period of time where I would tell you I only had 3 friends. And that was it. That was my select friends, and I wasn't going to let anybody else in my circle, right?
But I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, with just having 3 friends. I think as long as you're open, know that, not everyone out there is out to get you, or people are not trying to harm you just because of bad experiences. And I know, because I know that I've had really like big trust issues when it comes to female friendships, because I've been, deceived by them. It's hard when you welcome someone into your home and there's, backstabbing that goes on.
Mommy duties.
So,
which is, yes, real life.
But you know what? At the end of the day, what it does for you, what for me, what it has done for me, it has inspired me and it has empowered me on days when I feel like I need that person, and you do need that person. I think that female friendships, they're so powerful in their ways.
Absolutely.
And I know that for me particularly, my own even health journey would not have been as great as it was had I not had had I not been open to have those female friendships that I allowed in. And her being one of them. It's been 6 years with Miss Denise here, so
I know. She put me on the spot.
Yes,
Bless
you.
Okay, so as we share about ourselves and our some of our experiences, we definitely want you, our audience, to think about a few things. Okay, so one of the things that we want you all to think about is, some of the reasons that you've given yourself for not being able to connect to other women. So we want you to kind of think about that, right? Like, why do you feel like maybe you are that person that has only one or two friends, or maybe you don't have any really close, positive female relationships within your circle? And like Cruz said, it's okay to have one or two friends, but maybe you're that type that wants more, but there's still something holding you back. So kind of think about that. And also, like we talked about earlier, like think about who is in that circle. Because I have a lot of acquaintances, right? I know a lot of women. We're part of a huge community. I have a lot of childhood friends. However, I always say that I have multiple circles, right? So like I'm kind of here in the middle. So I have kind of this circle that's really close to me, which is my select friends that I've had, forever, that know a lot of my secrets, that I can just go to them at any time when I need something, and I know they're going to be there, even if I go for months and months and not talking to them. Those are just a few. And then I have kind of another circle that's close, close friends and kind of there, but maybe I won't really share all my deep, darkest secrets with. And then I kind of have that outer, which is like just acquaintances. I have a lot of, like I said, a lot of relationships that we've created along the way, and I feel good about that. Like, I'm okay with having those circles. It's not so much that, like, I guess you do kind of choose that in a sense. You do choose. I mean, I know that I've chosen those people that I really trust, that I feel like I can go to no matter what. They can come to me as well, because it has to be a two-way. It's not about just you having this friend that you go to, because relationships, regardless, have to be a two-way street. You have to be giving, as much as you may be receiving from the relationship. That's another thing that, that I feel like we should talk about. But definitely, like, I have, throughout my years, have chosen that. And my circles have kind of changed a little bit, The core has been there. Like, I say I have these 4 really good friends that they've been there for me since I was very young. But I think that throughout the years, definitely my friendships have changed. I have had people in my life that I thought that I could trust, and that's going to be one of the questions. And for me, definitely, it has been a trust thing that has stemmed from, like, my childhood, where, I had been betrayed, by several really close people in my life. And that really, those betrayals really stuck with me to the core. Like, it really...
It's really hard, because you're opening up to someone, and you're giving them your trust. And when trust is broken in any type of relationship, it is really, really hard to mend that. It's not impossible, but it is really hard to mend that friendship, that relationship, because you became vulnerable. So that's the thing about relationships. You open up and you become very vulnerable to them.
Absolutely. and vulnerable, like, and you know how us women are, right?
Yes.
'Cause we
Yeah.
be sharing all kinds
Everything.
of secrets, womanly stuff, So absolutely, like when you create this relationship with someone, and this is aside from your spouse or your boyfriend.
Exactly.
You create this relationship with a woman who, because us women are going to connect on another level. I mean, we have unique. We have a lot of the same experiences that you just really can't, no offense, honey, you just really kind of can't talk, or you can't really expect for your spouse or your significant other to really understand. So when we connect, it's really on another level. And
It really is.
So when you're right about that. When you open up to somebody about some of those things that you've struggled with, that maybe you can't really talk to your spouse about or your boyfriend about, because they're not really going to understand, and then that trust gets broken. I mean, that sometimes can be really, really hard to get past. And then for me personally, it closed me.
Yeah.
Like it closed me up to then wanting to talk to other to even make connections with other women. Sometimes, like, if somebody would do something, I was very quick to just cut them out of my life.
Yeah, because friendships, what friendships do, and I think any relationship where you're getting close to someone, they fill those emotional gaps that you're missing, and that's what a woman friendship does for you, because you may think you're going to get everything in one relationship, and there's nothing against marriage, but you still need that outside, because a woman is going to understand a woman on another level.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
A man, your husband is going to, yes, he could be your best friend, but you know what? You need that female perspective as well, who is at times going to be the person who is going to uplift you when you are feeling your worst, who is going to empower you when you are going through hell and back, and you don't know what you're going to do, And friendships like that are friendships that I tend to want to keep in my life.
Absolutely.
Because, you know what? We may say, oh, this person's my friend, that friend, but we have is acquaintances. But real friends are very hard to come by, and it takes a lot. And there is nothing wrong with just having 3 or 4 friends. Like, I like to keep my personal circle, I keep it very small. And yes, it has to do a lot with trust, But when I feel that I can open up to someone, for me, like, that person should know that at that point, I'm considering them someone very special to me. Because I don't go around telling my business to just anyone.
Right. So that takes me to one of the questions here. Like, what does friendship mean to you? And how do you feel like your past has influenced your relationship with women?
Friendship for me is, like I said before, someone who is going to... I give a lot to my relationships, whether it's in any type of relationship I give probably a little more than I should, 110%.
And that's kind of another...
that's another topic in itself.
But that also, it can be that way where a relationship, it becomes almost draining.
It becomes draining because
it's one-sided.
Because it's one-sided, correct. So
this lady's
mommy
duties.
So for me, a friendship is, that we mutually can communicate openly, first of all. That I can trust that person, and that person should be able to trust me. I don't want to say that I'm going to have high expectations, because of high expectations is the reason why there has been so many trust issues before. So I don't go with high expectations, but I want to let the person be themselves, so I can start learning from them and see who they really are. Okay, I'm very observant. I'm a very observant friend person. So because of that, I can easily tell when something is not right, or maybe this is not the person that I really should have a friendship with. Like, I can keep them at a distance, hello, goodbye. But friendship for me is, we love each other, we're there for each other 110%, we respect each other, we trust each other. We I have, like, my best friend today. Today I made a post. So if you guys, my people in IG, you guys saw my post in IG. That girl was with me from beginning to end, okay, throughout the time that I was going through one of the most difficult times in my life. That I can never forget, because she didn't have to be there. Even though she's my best friend, it doesn't mean she had to go above and beyond, and she went above and beyond. And it was at that moment, like, I've always valued her friendship. But you get to know your real friends, and you get to know those women who are really there for you when you're going through the hardest times. Believe me.
Right.
So for me, that right there was the moment that I said, you know what? That's someone I want to keep in my life.
Well, because friends should also be there for you, not just during the happy times.
Exactly.
But during the hard times, during fights, like, that's somebody who's going to be there, like, regardless. So
unconditionally,
right?
Okay.
Absolutely.
But there's people that when the hard times come, what happens?
They just, like, back up.
They back off because they don't know how to deal with that particular situation, or maybe it's too much for them. And I've had that.
Relationships are work.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if it's a friendship, a boyfriend, your husband, whatever relationship, it requires two sides.
So right there, I already know that that's someone that I want to keep. And what was the second part to the question?
So how do you feel like your past has influenced your relationships with women?
What it has taught me is that not everyone, how can I tell you? Really, what it has taught me throughout the years, because of a lot of deception, backstabbing, gossiping, unnecessary little petty things sometimes, it really has taught me that I don't need to be saying that this multitude are my friends. It has taught me that for me, I'm comfortable. You have to know where your comfort is at. And for me, I love to I'll open up to people. I'll give them trust, but I like to keep my circle small. For me, that works.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And
not at all. It's whatever works for you. There's some women who need the 10, 15 friends in their circle. There's some that are good with just a few.
But you know what? You have friends. You have different types of friends. Okay, that's how I see it. Because I have the friend that I love to go shopping with. All right, I enjoy myself with her. Okay, but do I consider her like my best friend? No. Okay? Because it's just certain things that we talk about. We don't go deep into things. We just love to go out and hang out and buy things and things like that. Then you have those friends that are there for you no matter what. Like in the good times and in the bad.
Something's
wrong.
There's something wrong.
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh.
Let's see. Hold on a second.
Let's see.
My watch party just froze.
Oh, it says recording. Oh, low internet connection.
Oh, okay, no, it's going through.
You sure? Because
it's
recording.
Okay, sorry. Just checking to see that orange popped up. I'm like, what is that?
It's going through now. Yeah, it's just going low.
So I was saying that there's some kind of friends that you can go to them, like that you can open up completely.
Correct.
But then there's others that you still don't feel that way, or maybe you never will, because of the kind of friendship that you guys have built.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, Delaney, what do you feel like? What does friendship mean to you, and how do you feel your past has influenced your relationship with women?
So friendship for me means like being there for that person, like whenever that person needs you, and like how Cruz was saying, friendship, it takes a lot of work. It's not just we've been knowing each other for 5 years
and that's a friend.
Yes, and that doesn't mean like a friendship.
Right.
I don't know if I'm explaining myself, but friend for me, like the true meaning of friendship means being there, like at all times, not just in the fun times. Let's have fun to the club or let's go shopping, but being there like when you're going through, any problems, all the problems that we as women go through. It can be relationship, it can be family, it can be a death, an accident, motherhood, moving. There are so many things that we as humans, as women, go through that sometimes we need a person. And friendship for me means being there through all the stages of your life and through all those hard moments that we go through, not just for the fun times, and also understanding, not judging, giving you advices the best that you can, because sometimes I feel sometimes that I don't have the best advice, but I try my best,
Right.
I try my best to, whoever comes to me and, that wants to open up.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of women, that they open up to me, and sometimes I feel like I haven't gone through that yet.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I'm not at that stage, but I give my best.
Yeah.
And that's what friendship means to me.
Yeah.
And going to the past, oh my God. So in my household, I grew up with, everything in my household was, you gotta keep it a strict secret. Like everything that was going through, nobody can know about. That I never saw.
Latino household.
Yes, I never saw. I grew up with my grandma and my aunts, and I never saw them like having
female friendship.
Yes, like female bonding. Like
outside the family.
Outside the
only
family.
in the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everything that was going through se quedaba en la casa. Everything would stay there.
How many of you who had grown up in Latino homes, have experienced that? Because I know my own personal experience. My mom was like, lo que pasa en la casa se queda en la casa. Okay,
yes.
So whatever happens in your home stays in your home, and that's how I grew up. So that's how come I became like so private that people didn't even know what was going on in my household.
Yeah.
Even though I needed, like, you need that outlet
to open up.
Open up,
It was like, okay, so let's say, oh, your husband is cheating on you.
Mm-hmm.
Te lo traga and you keep going. Nobody needs to know about it. Tú te tragas eso, lo que tú estás pasando, and you just keep going. And that's how I grew up. It was never, like, Mama, I'm going through this. And there was actually, I'm going to share this, not going into details, but there was a moment in my life that I went through a hard moment. And when I opened up to talk about it, I mean, it took years for me to open up because I had a mindset. I grew up with that. Whatever you're going through, you swallow it and you keep going. Nobody needs to know. Nobody cares.
Share about it.
You just keep going. And so when that event happened in my life, and I took the courage to speak up because I could no longer take it, I speak up and nobody believed me.
Of course, of course.
Yeah. Because that's how I grew up, and I know a lot of you Latinas can relate to that, and I think that's what affects us, and because growing up that way is how you have that hard time of opening up to other people, even your family,
Exactly.
Because when I opened up, it was to my family first, and they didn't believe me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I opened up to someone close to the family, and then she believed me.
Right.
Right. So
it's something that you mentioned, the no judgment. Right, so I'm gonna just take like this. That's gonna be kind of my spin on the whole friendship thing. Is I develop relationships with people, and friendship means what it means to me is the no judging, because if you think about it, whether you say it or not, everybody judges.
We do.
It doesn't matter where you are, who you are. It doesn't
do.
matter what you think. Even I know that there's a lot of people out there that are very religious, and God teaches us not to do that, but we do it anyway, right? You judge every day. You sit on the subway. What do? You judge whether or not you're sitting next to this person or you're sitting next to that person, right? So for me, that means a lot to me. That to me is almost like the core of really strong friendships for me. It's connecting with someone who I know is not going to judge me, like for real, because us women have the intuition, right? And sometimes we don't follow it. I believe that our intuition is right 99.9% of the times, but like I said, we don't follow it sometimes. And for me personally, I've been able to follow that in terms of my friendship. So for me, friendship means having that person that is not going to judge you, that is just going to give you that unconditional, friendship. And that you can also do the same for them, because it has to be a two-way. Because I've been in friendships where they've just been too one-sided for me, like too much. And once I start to feel that little pang in my stomach where I feel like I'm being drained, as opposed to being it being a two-way street, then that's another piece of it, is that I'm usually pretty quick to cut it off, right? Usually, not all the time. Sometimes the friendship will kind of, go on and drag a little bit. But if it really gets to the point where it's just too much on one end, and I feel like my energy is being taken and it's kind of negative in a sense, then, that's where the friendship usually just kind of ends for me somehow. So that's what friendship means to me. And definitely, like I mentioned earlier, trust has been, huge for me. And like I said, in my past, I have been betrayed by very close people. And it took me a really, really long time to process that. Although, I got apologies, although as I got older, I kind of, was forgiving, right? Because, we'll talk a little bit about that. I chose to forgive, but it really, I've never forgotten. And that's been really, really difficult for me, because being betrayed, at such a young age, I took that and then applied it to all these other relationships, that entered my life, So that's taken me some time to really get over. Okay, so the second question, which you touched up a little bit on it, but we'll go a little more into it. How has your female friendships improved your quality of life? And we also want to share a tip that's going to help our watchers, our listeners, build a better relationship with another woman, with women.
No, for me, it has helped me basically with my stress. So when I feel stressed out, and before I didn't do this, because as this lady shared, I was the same way. When I was growing up, my mom, like I said, she was like, nothing from the house goes outside of the house. So there were so many things going on in my home that I had to keep in. And it was really, really hard. I tried having female relationships, but at that age, but it was hard because my mom herself kept to herself, and she didn't open up to no woman. She didn't allow any other friendships. She only had one friend, and she wasn't completely open with that friend. So to me, it was well, I guess I need to stay away from female friendships, because she didn't speak positively about them. So I ended up having all of these male friendships, which I loved. They opened me up to a whole different thing, whole different view.
I have my thoughts on that, but I know that some women can have male.
Oh yeah, no, mine was
friendships.
No.
I've just heard some people there ain't no such thing. You can't be a woman having a male as a best friend.
Yes, you can. I had.
If you agree, anybody, let us know if you are that woman that has really had legit.
Have you had
BFFs?
Yeah, have you had a best friend who's a male?
Who's a man? Just let us know.
Do you think that a man
I don't know.
could be
What
best
do you think?
friends?
I don't know if I agree with that.
I think so, because I had my best friend.
I'm not saying it can't happen.
Yeah, may he rest in peace. Was the most amazing human being who ever came into my life. Period. And
that's awesome.
And I wouldn't trade that friendship for anything in this world. So that's how I grew up, is with male friendships. It took me a minute before I could actually open up to women later on in my life. So, what was the question? I went in
so how has it improved your quality of life?
So it has improved because now I realize how healing a female friendship is. Because even though I have experiences having male friendships, is never the same as that female who can be very empathetic to your feelings, because a male just can't the same way as a female can really feel your pain, what you're going through, can understand when you're going through marital issues, when you're going through motherhood issues. There's so many things. So for me, when I feel like I'm against the wall, I'll reach out to either my best friend or to this lady who's sitting right here, who checks me sometimes, and then I have to check her, and then I'm like, why did I come to her? But no, but she's
nothing
amazing.
Wrong with that. You gotta be honest and open, right?
And that's what I value. I value, a lot of people, they shy away from friends who tell you the truth. Okay? Me, I want to have people who are going to tell me the truth in my face.
Oh, yeah. And that you can also be open with them and they can take
open.
it.
Well, you know what? Right? I don't think that people can always take it. I mean, let's be for real. You're going to feel some type of way, but you know what? You end up thinking about it and you get over it because you know why? You understand that this person is coming from a good place in their heart, and they're telling you what they need to tell you. And past experience with that friendship is going to show you that this person is not trying to, move you into a wrong direction. This person is talking from their heart. So for me, I want someone who's going to be honest and real with me versus someone who's going to tell me, is going to yes me to death. And then later on, I'm like, why am I in this friendship for?
Exactly.
So
and we have had those experiences where I wanted to like.
Yes.
Well, I'm like, it's true. Like she'll say something to me, and I'm like, ugh, and then like I'm pissed off for a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, she's right.
But it's true.
Like, and then she's messaging me, and I don't want to talk to her. She's like, but what's wrong with you? Well, she knows, and I'm like.
But even with
it's okay.
Also with my other friend, it's the same thing. Like, we'll go at each other. We will go in because both of us have like really strong personalities.
Right.
Especially like if I'm doing something maybe that isn't right, or she's not doing something that's, like right. We will go in, like we start off nice about it, but then eventually it goes, like it turns around, like get your life together here. But you know what? We may feel some type of way, but when you know that it's coming from a place of love,
right,
it changes. It really does. It changes you, and it helps you to understand. You know what? This person's not meaning me any harm or any wrong. And I think that that's another thing. We put up that wall, that shield right away.
Yes.
Because we become afraid of. We have that fear that this person is going to hurt us as well.
Yeah.
So you just have to know from past experience with that person, with that friendship, where you've been and where you are now. It would show you, okay, is this person coming from a place of love, or is this person, really trying to be an ass? I said it,
Right,
so,
right.
And I can relate a lot to that, to what you were saying. And before, I used to be like that. Like when any of you girls or any of the women from
we didn't get offended.
Yeah,
because we knew your heart.
Yeah, exactly.
You tell me like the real deal. Like I will feel some kind of way. But as I started, evolving. Madurando, I say.
No,
maturing,
yes, madurando y todo eso, like yo comencé a reflexionar como wow. Y esa and that's the kind of friendship that that I love now. Like dime la cosa en la cara como son and how they have to be, Porque what's the point of you having a friend that is like sugarcoating things for you when it's not going to help you in any way?
It's going to harm you.
Yes. So, like Cruz, I love those kind of friends, and that's why I value you girls a lot. Because, we have that friendship that no decimos la cosa how they are.
And she tells you like it is.
Yes.
So, how have these friendships improved your quality of life?
Okay, so like I shared, before growing up, I had that struggle, and I think I still do struggle a little bit, but I have improved a lot. But now I do open more to talking, what's going on in my life, because before when I used to stay shut, it will harm me. Like I would feel even worse.
Yeah.
I would hide, I would cry, and I would play the victim. And why is this happening to me? And like why me? Like And but then when I joined this community and I started hearing all these stories. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of women have to do more, like share their stories. Because in our stories is that you can connect. And like you were saying, like maybe there's a lot of women in our community that they have shared their stories, and there's so many things that I can relate, like motherhood, relationships. So I know who to go for an advice. I know, like, for you girls, like, I trust you girls, and whenever I'm feeling some kind of way, I tell you girls, I'm feeling this way, my mood is low, like, you know, and that makes me feel better because it's not like I'm lying to you. Oh no, I'm energized today when inside I am not, you know. Yeah. So opening up has helped me a lot and has improved the way that I live my life and how I feel from the inside.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you that being also part of this community, these friendships honestly have like saved me because the reality is that I have a different relationship with my husband that I do with my girlfriends, and my husband is my best friend. We can talk about a lot of things, but there's also a lot of things that he's not going to be able to understand. Mm-hmm. And like you were saying earlier, is opening up, making that decision to open up to another woman, being open to that, getting to know stories. Like for me, it's been very healing. Very, very healing. And not only me being able to, to go to my friends and talk to them, but also being there for them really fills my cup, right? Because it makes me feel like I'm not alone. Like I'm not the only one that's struggling with this, mm-hmm. Like I'm not the only one, like I'm not freaking crazy. Like there's a bunch of other crazy chicks in my circle that are experiencing the same thing. And even with motherhood, you mentioned that earlier. Like once you become a mother, that changes you. So connecting with other women that are, that are also mothers and that really understand, what you're experiencing, what you're going through.
That's important because sometimes you feel when you first have, and Delaney can talk to this, because I know I felt it, you feel alone.
Yes.
You feel alone when you first become a mother for the first time. It's like you feel like you're the only one going through this, even though there's thousands and upon thousands of women who have gone through this. Yes. Go ahead.
Exactly. No. I mean, go ahead. And if anyone has any questions, please, or anything you guys can relate to, please share some hearts, give us some feedback.
Yes, and please tag your best friend to listen to this.
Yes. But I definitely feel like in terms of my quality of life, it's just made me a better person. It really has. And I'll go into, like, I'm going to ask you ladies, like, a tip that I can share with you guys in terms of making those connections with women, opening up, is that you got to let go. Like, if you're having issues with trust, forgiving somebody, if that's been really difficult for you, even if you decide that you don't want to reconnect with the particular person that broke your trust, you still have to make that decision. And that's my biggest tip. Make the decision to let that go. Not for that, so much for that person, but for yourself. Because once you can do that, you start to heal, and you'll be more capable of opening up, right, to other people. So that's my number one tip: is you gotta trust again. Whatever it is that you need to do to learn how to heal, trust, and forgive.
Yeah, and for me, it would be don't be. It's like piggybacking off of you. Don't be afraid to open up. Even though you've been hurt before, opening up, let me tell you, female friendships, they are truly healing, all right? And it is a scientific fact, all right, that when women gather together, yes, when women gather together, because now we're going to geek out right now quickly, okay? We're going to do this 1, 2, 3. When women support each other and when women are together, it becomes not only healing but restorative to your health, okay, to whatever it is that you're going through. And if you're someone who's like so stressed out, so in science, in psychology, we have the fight-flight, right?
The fight or flight.
Right, response. So what happens when you're in extreme, stress, you have that fight-flight response that, it triggers automatically, right? Because you have to fight and you have to protect yourself and you have to like dash, okay? But when you're in extreme stress and you're surrounded by female friendships, now it's like that feel-good stress hormone that automatically raises up. It's not the bad hormone, which women, let me tell you, if you are on a weight loss journey, as difficult as this may sound right now, the worst thing that you can do when you're on a weight loss journey is have your stress levels up. You know why? Because it raises your cortisol levels. And your cortisol levels is actually what will affect. So I get a lot of women, and I'm pretty sure you do, where they're like, you know what, I want to work in my tummy area. That is the first thing that the cortisol levels do. When you are under extreme stress, it's very hard. It is very difficult, not until your stress goes down, for this part to actually start going down.
So what you're trying to say is that hanging out with good friends reduces your stress levels, which then in turn helps you lose weight.
It helps you lose weight.
Okay. So I'm gonna hang out with you guys. That's why I'll be losing weight. I want to make sure I got my summer body going on.
So we have such an amazing, strong community, and that strong community of women is one of the things that helped me with my own health.
Yeah.
So find yourself that community, open up, stay open, because there are women, you may have been hurt before, but there are women, you know what, just like you, who...
We're out there.
Yeah, there are just like you who really, are willing to help you, and you help them, and share their story, and you share yours. I think that one of the things I always remember my dad used to say was, he still says it, hablando, comunicando se entiende la gente,
Yeah.
So opening up and communicating is the way that you understand each other. And that's the first way that you start building any type, the foundation, besides trust, respect, is communication.
Love it, love it.
And on my
What's
end,
your tip, girl?
Yes, I think it's letting go of your ego and that fear of reaching out and looking for help, and like you girls were saying, opening up. So just like you, I speak to so many women, and some of them, they open up like right away. Maybe it's that stress that they've been so stressed for many years that they just need like someone to listen to them.
Exactly.
And the more stories that I hear, the more we need each other, because this has been women that they don't open up to their families, they don't open up to even their best friend, because maybe they cannot relate to them, or they have como that wall
or that fear, like Denise spoke about, that fear of being judged. Because we still have it,
yes, or she doesn't care about what I'm going through. Exactly. So let go of the ear, let go of the fear. Don't think that because someone is making progress, that person is better than you. No, it just means that person took action. That person took action in moving forward and letting go anything that happened in the past, and took action to move forward from the present, and keep going for your present and your future and whatever that you want to achieve in your life. But let go of that ego. Reach out for help. If you follow anyone that you can relate, that has been sharing their story and that you can relate, reach out to that person. Have a phone call, maybe a Zoom call, a FaceTime, and just open up. I am pretty sure that if that person is sharing her story or his story, that person is willing to listen to yours, or whatever you're going through.
It's not easy to put yourself out there, and that's one thing for us. It hasn't been easy for us to just put ourselves out there, or to share parts of our private lives. As you can gather, we are very private, people, individuals. Even though you see our social media, we keep some form of privacy. So it's more to see how we can help others, and that's because of everything that we have actually experienced throughout the community that we've been.
Exactly. So we're going to take you out with this. This is one more thing I wanted to share. Women, stop comparing yourself to others. You need to stop. That's one thing that I think all of us can relate to, and the ego comes into play and everything else. Don't compare, okay? Get to know people, get to know other women, exactly what this lady said and Cruz said, because what you see is not always what you think is going on. And once you make that decision to stop the comparison game and love yourself where you're at, and open up to other women, then I'm telling you right now, you're going to be able to make those connections, and over time really strengthen those relationships. So that's my thing. That's what I want to leave you guys. So any closing Anybody want to ask any questions? Do we have any questions?
Any questions? No questions.
Everybody's
No nothing. But
any comments?
Is it nap time? Just kidding.
But you know what? I do want to leave you guys with this in female friendships. So female friendships that work are relationships in which women help each other to belong to themselves. I think that's powerful, and we need to remember that. You know why? Because female friendships help us remember who we truly are.
Amen to
when
that.
we're forgetting.
All right.
Have a good one, guys.
All
Thank
right,
you so much for
everybody.
being
Thank
on.
you. And if anybody has any questions, we'll come back and check out the feed later and share this with a friend.
Yes.
Thank you.
Who needs to hear this? You can turn it on. Oh, preserve. Bye.